get me? Okay. So good. Okay. I need to know if we got sound. Can't be any old geek in these streets. You gotta be handy with the steel. Alright, so we good? Kim, you said we back? Okay. Deshaun, right when I had hit end on the last video, I saw you say you could still hear. Alright, here we go. Okay. In the meantime, this is so dope, yo. I love this altar. I love this altar. It's amazing. Alright, I'm gonna give you that shit one more time, since peace and power, sis. Peace and power. I'm gonna give you that shit one more time, since that's what I'm saying. Remember, I always tell you it's peace because I know we're about to learn something together. I've never read this book, so that's dope. We'll be coming across things, the gems I see at the same time. But I always tell you that limbo isn't real. That some things change, you know, and those things aren't your constants. Those things aren't your laws. You know, those are your rules. They can bend and break and change. Your laws are firm, like universal laws, like the laws of nature and shit. God laws. Those laws, scientific laws, these laws don't change. And so I feel like limbo is, oh, hold on right quick. I don't want no roaches to get lost in the struggle. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's peace. That's peace. Yeah, I tell you all the time, limbo isn't real because it defies the law of gravity. You know, like we know everything go up, come down. Like we know this, and this is not out. The jury not still out on that. They've all come to fuck back with a unified decision, and it's the same way. Like, you know, gravity is real. So limbo would indicate that there's some hovering going on. Like there's some in the middle going on. But there's never no in the middle. There's never no in the middle. Okay? There's never no in the middle. It's good. Damn it, Lisa. Me either. But yeah, it's either good or it's bad. You know, it's either helping or hurting. It's either lightening or darkening. It's rather increasing or decreasing. It's rather progressing or regressing. It's either generating or degenerating. Okay? But there is no limbo. Limbo, now we know we can call it something else to help you cope better. It's the meantime. It's the in-between space where you do, before you know what the fuck you're supposed to do, and before you do what the fuck you gonna do. It's the time you waste and the shit you wallow in and the bullshit you mount up in the meantime. All right? Yeah, let's talk about that because yeah, we've done that. The other person keep dropping hints. Wait, it's a state of limbo. You're hanging on, ready to let go, afraid to fall, not wanting to hurt yourself, afraid you'll hurt someone else. Okay? I'm making sure you understand that limbo is not just in relationships, intimate relationships. It can also be in work relationships. It can be in relationships to habits, in relationships to material things. Whether you're hanging on to your car, you're hanging on to your weed habit, you're hanging on to your ex or your punk ass job, all of us know what it's like to be in limbo, letting the meantime, the chances and the odds stack against us like we don't have any control. It's a state of limbo. You're hanging on, ready to let go, afraid to fall, not wanting to hurt yourself, afraid you'll hurt someone else. In the meantime, you pray the other person will let go first so you won't feel guilty. The other person keeps dropping hints, letting you know that it's time to go. You deny it. Why? You don't know why. But I can tell you that the meantime is fraught with don't knows and can't do's. Can't do's. Let's talk about them can't do's. Nah, that's peace really though. It's fraught with don't know whys and can't do's. Maybe it's the customer service in me, but that's definitely problematic when you go to your can't do's and won't do's before you have established your can do's, should do's, and will do's. Okay. Um. Oh, don't know why I should stay. Don't know where I'm going. Don't know how I'm going to get there. Wherever there is. Ambivalence, confusion, reluctance, and paralysis are all characteristics of the meantime. If you knew the answers to these questions, you'd be just fine. In the meantime, you're many things, and fine is probably not one of them. Life would be so much easier if, when we hit a snag in a relationship, any relationship, we would stop, address it, and move ahead smoothly. The truth is, in most cases, we could do just that. The reality is, we don't do it. We keep moving. We allow little insults to become raging angers, little arguments to become festering feuds, little pains to become deep wounds, and we keep moving. Remember yesterday, or it could have been the day before, where I told you, like, and maybe it's the being on the water shit that got me so clear, but some things didn't make sense. Yeah. Two things happened yesterday. It's time for me to eat something. That's the first thing. I've been really clear, but I knew yesterday it was time for me to eat something. Okay? Here. We keep moving. We allow little insults to become raging anger, little arguments to become festering feuds, little pains to become deep wounds, and we keep moving. In many cases, we keep hurting. We keep moving and we keep hurting. We keep moving and we keep hurting. I told you that, I don't know who lied to us along the way and told us that you got to talk about shit at the right time. It's a time and a place for everything, or some shit they said. You're supposed to, like, yeah, you'll see it. It'll be some emotional shit popping off, and the motherfucker be like, this is not the time or the place for this. Oh, whenever the fuck you feel that shit, wherever the fuck you are, whenever the fuck you feel that shit, is the time and place for that shit to be talked the fuck about. And there's no way around it. The time you feel that way is the time to talk about it. Now, everybody got choices, so you could keep moving, but we understand that that's how molehills become mountains, all right? That's how cuts become deep wounds. Yeah, it's how infections become disease. So why is it that we keep moving, family? Why is it that we keep moving without addressing? Why do we keep moving without addressing? Why do we do that? Especially because oftentimes, like I said, when you, in the meantime, because I've seen that happen a lot of times, when you, in the meantime, somebody wants to be out of a relationship and they don't say so. They just kind of slowly check out, waiting for, I've done it, you know, I did it to my husband so I can know when it's, you know, when it's being done. Like, you want the other person to let go so you don't feel guilty, and mostly because you don't want to hurt them. It ain't just your ego, like, I just don't want to be at fault. It's a lot of it, I don't want to be at fault for their pain. The thing is, as a result of that, you pain them anyway, you know, because limbo is another thing. Limbo is hard. Like, limbo is hard. I told you, we continually ask other people, and we ask doctors, and we ask our bodies and our minds. We ask all these motherfuckers to do things that we aren't willing to do, or are unable to do. Like, you can put your heart and mind and spirit in limbo and in clear conscience. You can put those parts of you in limbo and in clear conscience. Just hang them up on a nigga, or hang them up on a piece of pussy, or hang them up on a job. You got yourself paused or stuck in limbo. And if I asked you to put your body in limbo, like if your job today told you that your next check was dependent upon whether or not you could physically put your body in limbo, you couldn't do it. But yet still we asked our minds and our spirits and everything else to be in limbo. Well, shit, we could read a whole book on this, and I got a feeling it's gonna chop up kind of like, oh man, I kind of I got a feeling of how it's gonna chop up. All right, like grandma say, shit, one hit a quitter. The devil operating confusion. Okay, the devil operating confusion. The reality is we don't do it. We keep moving. We allow little insults to grow, arguments, pains, and we keep moving. In many cases, we keep hurting. When the relationship is an intimate, loving one, the attempt to move forward without addressing the pain only complicates matters, further poisoning the relationship. How can I stay and not get hurt? How can I go without hurting? You cannot answer these questions if you are in pain. What you can do is make the effort to discover the truth about love, because it is the only thing that can help you move through the experience. In the meantime, if we can remain loving ourselves and loving toward other people by staying in conscious and honest communication, a disruption, snag, or delay in a relationship becomes a healing process. When we cannot, we engage in meantime behavior. Hold on 1 second. Okay, making sure you can still hear me and shit. When we cannot, we engage in meantime behavior, hurting, fighting, not telling the truth, and moving forward in confusion. Confusion begets confusion. Back to our meantime lovers. 2 weeks later, she called him at work. He had already called her twice, but hung up when her voicemail answered. In the meantime, they each tried to convince themselves that they should not call each other again, but they desperately needed to see each other. He invited her out for a drink. She set the date, time, and place. He showed up with a rose, a single pink rose. The minute she saw it and him, the twitching body parts began to thump. Her attachment became a blur, and she didn't know what to do. He did. He said all the right things in just the right tone of voice at the right moment, which created a corresponding thumping in his corresponding body parts. She told him about her attachment. He told her about his. Well, not exactly. Although there was someone, his someone knew what the deal was. That's when she realized she was headed for trouble. Quickly, she made her excuses and took her thumping body parts home. In the meantime, he had 2 more drinks and tried to figure out what he was going to do and how he was going to do it. Let's talk about love in the meantime. Life is all about love. Love is the only true meaning of life. Being alive means that we are occupants in love's house and are accountable to love's rules. Neither life nor love requires us to give up our dignity, self-worth, career objectives, favorite television program, or our good common sense. Plug. Neither life nor love require us to give up our dignity, self-worth, career objectives, favorite television program, our good common sense. Life does not require that of you, and neither does love. Neither does love. That means that I read 2 things when I see that. 2 things. The first thing is, like, life or love doesn't require it. If you ever feel like you've lost your dignity, self-worth, your career objectives, your favorite television program, or your good common sense, it was not because life told you to do it. It was not because life chose that for you. If you've ever had to sacrifice or, get rid of or give up your dignity, your self-worth, your career objectives, your favorite television program, your good common sense, your goals, your dreams, particular friends, love did not require that of you. You required that of you. Love did not require it. Life and love all they require is one another. Life requires love and love requires life. And that's just it. Anything else is you, all right? Anything else is you, and you do have control over it. Hold on, there was something else in here. Life is about love. So neither life requires us to give up. For some reason, hold on 1 second. See each other. Say it hurt, effort, help you move through. What can you do is make the effort to discover the truth about love, because it is the only thing that can help you move through the experience. That's it. You cannot answer these questions if you are in pain. I'm going back before we go forward. Hold on. What you can do is make the effort to discover the truth about love, because it is the only thing that can help you move through the experience. And that's some meantime shit in the middle, okay? The only thing that's going to help you move through, the only thing that's going to help you move through is to discover the truth about love. Listen, it is because, like, this is the thing. I have a friend in my life who we not gonna hang out. We're not gonna chop it up. That's not the nature of our friendship. It never has been. The nature of our friendship has always been, if I need help, I'll call you. Okay, that's just it. Like, that's been the nature of our friendship, and we've been friends for 25 years. If I need help, I'll reach out to you. If I don't need help, I'm probably not gonna reach out. An occasional text message a couple of times a year. But if I need you, hands down, I'm gonna call you. I ain't gonna wait and let you be the third one on the list. I'm not gonna wait till my efforts have been exhausted. Fuck no. If I see a red flag, I don't even have to be able to confirm that you can help me with it. Because you're one of my first lines of defense, I'm gonna call you. And because that friendship has been in my life for so long, there's been relationship after relationship after relationship where I've been asked to terminate friendships. Love and life has required me to sever that friendship. Time and time again, sever that friendship. Only for that relationship to then dwindle and for my friendships to still stand. That's the difference in family and friends, okay? Yeah, lovers become friends and families, and the friends that become family, those are solid, you know? Anyway, that's, the piece in this is, me 5 years ago would compromise a true and solid friend for a chance to win, you know? And this don't mean keeping a nigga in your back pocket. That's definitely not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about your friends, how some women and some men get in relationship and move away from, and life or love they feel like requires them to let go of the things that make them who they are, okay? It's having, though, a solid, because daddy told me you got constants and you got variables. Some people in your life, they the variables. You know what that is, like a math problem. And then some are constants, like fucking 3 gonna be 3, like 9 gonna be 9. Ain't no X and sometimes Y. Your constants are your constants. And in relationship, you know, oh goodness, excuse me, family. All right, your constants are the real love examples that will help you move through life. That's why it's so important that we teach our children love and we love on them at home. Because if they have discovered the truth about love, then the meantime it's not a sludge pot, you know? The meantime is not a sludge pot. Love. So if I'm in a relationship or in a friendship where the level of love, the degree of love changes depending on the sun, it shifts depending on how much money we have, it shifts depending on how much of sex we have, and it shifts depending on who's visiting or who's coming over. If it shifts like that, sometimes knowing true love is the only thing that'll help you recognize where love is lacking, okay? Where love is lacking. If we've learned at home, what love's supposed to look like and what love's supposed to feel like, then that lesson, that discovery of love will help us get through, okay? If I've learned in my experiences about love, if I've discovered the truth about love to be an ass cutting, getting my eye purple, or getting my ass beat anytime I don't obey somebody else's laws or orders, then I could very well take that into my relationships as an adult, from childhood to adolescence and on to adulthood, where I believe that that's love. That's my discovery about true love. When you discover, like, what's they call it, agape, you know, when you discover real love, it's an example that helps you to learn what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, what you can tolerate and what you should not tolerate. So having a constant, having an example or a true discovery about what love really is one of the only ways to get through the sludge of the meantime. All right, I'll give thanks that I have that revelation. You know what I'm saying? That I have a revelation. Her attachment became a blur. Okay. And that's another thing. Neither life or love require you to give up your dignity, your self-worth, your career objectives, your favorite television program, or your good common sense. Real love wants you to evolve. Real love wants you to grow. And real love supports you in anything that you believe is for your betterment or for your evolution. Okay? Real love does that. Real love does that. One, if I don't trust that you can make good decisions for yourself and by yourself, then the question should be whether or not we should be in friendship or in relationship. But if we already in friendship and relationship, then we've already established a baseline of trust. I trust you to take care of yourself. I trust you to take care of decisions. And if I trust your decision making, then I support any and all things that are in your life that you say, you feel, know, and believe contribute to your betterment or evolution. So where in love and support and embrace would you have to sacrifice or compromise the parts of you that you feel like make you you? For some reason, we don't always understand this. We believe in the necessity of giving up one thing in order to get something else. We especially believe this about love. We do not, that's crazy. Let me give you that again. I believe that to be true. I remember when I got pregnant the second time, I wondered, how do mothers love another child? Like, really, I would wonder. Like, I love my first baby so much, and I'm thinking there's not enough love to give. How can you love two children? Anyway, we don't always understand this. We believe in the necessity of giving up one thing in order to get something else. We especially believe this about love. We do not understand that the highest expression of love is the experience and realization of more of who you are, what you do, what you believe, and what you have. Love has the ability to bring all of you together under one roof at one time as one experience. Love is the experience of oneness, a union of the mind and heart. Unfortunately, we believe we can establish this union with others only if we give up something. We attempt to create this union with others before first creating it within ourselves. This is absolutely impossible. You cannot get love from the outside until you are love on the inside. In the meantime, we do many things in the name of love for the sake of love. In the meantime, while we're learning about love, we flounder around, involving ourselves in strange alliances, making up rules as we go along in the name of what we think love is or should be. We watch and listen to others. We watch and listen to others, believing they know all there is to know about love and relationships. The truth is that they, like the rest of us, are learning by trial and error. At best, we pick and choose who to love and how we will love them. At worst, we discover that it is virtually impossible to do enough, fast enough, for enough people in enough situations to receive from them the love, admiration, or acceptance we seem to need. I stepped all over there. Let me do that again. The truth is that they, like the rest of us, we watch and listen to others, believing they know all there is to know about love and relationships. The truth is that they, like the rest of us, are learning by trial and error. At best, we pick and choose who to love and how we will love them. At worst, we discover that it is virtually impossible to do enough, fast enough, for enough people in enough situations to receive from them the love, admiration, or acceptance we seem to need. Did you get all of that? In the meantime, while we're learning the truth about love, we can make a pretty big mess out of most things. Nowhere do we make a bigger mess than in our so-called loving relationships. They were at it again. He and she both knew that they needed to make a swift but loving departure from the relationships they were in. Neither of them had the courage, strength, or presence of mind to do so. He didn't leave because his attachment had been so good to him. In the 3+ years they had been together, they had really been through a lot of hysteria about whether or not they should stay together. In the end, they stayed together because they had nowhere else to go. She stayed with her attachment to avoid facing the fear of spending time alone. She had been there and done that so many times before. It was not a very pleasant possibility to look forward to, and she surely did not want to subject herself to it voluntarily. In the meantime, she kept hoping against hope that somehow, someway, her attachment would miraculously disappear or become the love man of her dreams, meaning that she would live happily ever after. That's how she convinced herself time and time again to stay. In the meantime, she kept looking elsewhere for something else, although she was not quite sure what it was she was looking for. Yo, this is peace because we should talk about reasons so that we can be honest. We should talk about reasons that we stay or reasons that we do the meantime thing we do. Like you said, sometimes it's not the fear of being alone. Okay, sometimes it's the wanting to escape guilt and not wanting to hurt anybody or be the bad guy. Sometimes it's for the convenience of having somewhere to stay. She just named quite a few of them. But what we gotta, I mean, it could be an exercise. Write a list. It don't have to be a list of only yours. Write a list of things people say so you can recognize the trap sentences. All right. Hold on. There was something else that came to me while I was reading this to you. So let me read it again and see if it comes to me. Neither of them had the courage, strength, or presence of mind to do so. He didn't leave because his attachment had been so good to him. In 3+ years, they had been together. That's another thing. Some of us stay out of obligation. We feel like they rocked with us when I didn't have nothing, and so now I'm obligated to stay. I'm obligated to stay. When you stay in a place you don't want to be in, you hurt everybody around you. Don't think that it doesn't show. They know, and it shows. It would behoove us to do like we said. The minute you feel it, speak it, address it, and move on smoothly. Not just feel it and keep moving. In the 3 years plus they've been together, they've been through a lot of hysteria about whether or not they should stay together. In the end, they stayed because they had nowhere else to go. She done that many times before. I got it. I remember it was something holistic healing. It was not a very pleasant, give me a minute. Not a very pleasant possibility to look forward to. She should not want to subject herself voluntarily. In the meantime, she kept hoping to get somehow that her attachment would somehow miraculously disappear, meaning that she would live happily. Hold on, I'm coming. That's how she convinced herself time and time again to stay. And meanwhile, that's how she convinced herself. She kept hoping that her attachment would miraculously disappear or suddenly become the man of her dreams, in which, in both cases, she could finally be happily ever after. And that's how she convinced herself time and time again to stay. In the meantime, though, check this. She kept looking elsewhere for something else, although she was not quite sure what it was she was looking for. That's another sign for you, family. If you keep looking, every time you look, every time you get something, you seem disoriented and you go looking for something else. Be still. Be still. That's how she convinced herself time and time again to stay. In the meantime, she kept looking elsewhere for something else, although she was not quite sure what it was she was looking for. This is how in holistic healing, you learn the difference between hunger and the difference between a craving, okay? And this is important because sometimes we stay looking for we looking for food. We want more food because we're still hungry. I'm still hungry. The children do it too. You feed them and an hour later they're like, Mom, I'm still hungry. I'm hungry. So we're steadily looking to fulfill this hunger, right? And this is like in real life. It's in spirit too, but I'm talking about right now in body. And like I said, in holistic healing, we learn that when you are hungry, real food will satisfy the hunger. When you are in fact hungry, a banana, an apple, a green pepper will do the trick. You know, if you have a craving, you have to have a very particular thing. You're gonna have the green pepper, you're gonna have the apple, you're gonna have the banana, you're gonna have the donut, you're gonna have the cake, you're gonna have the pie. You're gonna keep looking and keep eating and keep looking and keep eating until you find this particular thing that you want. In the meantime, you're looking and I'm sure that people and emotions and experiences are just like foods. Until the hunger or the craving is satisfied, it's gonna stay there. It's gonna keep presenting itself. All right, so that's why you're just kind of on a constant prowl, looking for something. And every time you get something, you got to make sure you got this, and then you're looking for something else before you even verify that you done lost the something that you had. A bird in the hand, like my grandma said, is worth 2 in the bush. Okay, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. In the meantime, she kept looking elsewhere for something else. I told you, black woman, and I can only speak for black women. We have a defense mechanism of not cheating but compensating. All right, we know black men done got it the hard way, and as a result, our relationships are hard as fuck to maintain and balance. Okay, but black woman, we have y'all. Did that vent make it too loud? I think it got loud. All right, let's keep on going. We've been on here for 30 minutes. And I see the word peace, so let's just keep pushing. I love you, sisters, though. I love you. Like I said, we got a defense mechanism of compensating. You know, not cheating, but compensating. The minute he not giving you enough dick, or not giving you enough money, or not giving you enough time, attention, affection, or whatever the fuck else it is that you want, there's a void, and you look to fill it with something. For the bold and aggressive and outrageous and or promiscuous woman, if he ain't on his shit, you about to go give somebody else the pussy. And for the woman that's more reserved or more conservative, if not, then she's looking for some intellectual spark or challenge. She's looking for some conversational escape with somebody else. But we all have a habit of it, you know, of looking for something to fill the meantime. Love is the only thing we need. Love is our peace. Love is our joy. Love is our health. Love is our wealth. Love is our identity. We go into a relationship looking for love, not realizing that we must bring love with us. We must bring a strong sense of self and purpose into a relationship. We must bring a sense of value of who we are. We must bring an excitement about ourselves, our lives, and the vision we have for these two essential elements. We must bring a respect for wealth and abundance. Having achieved it to some satisfactory degree on our own, we must move into relationships willing to share what we have rather than being afraid of someone taking it. Joyful sharing and excitement. Joyful sharing and excitement, value, purpose, and vision, that's what love is about. When we bring these things to the relationship, love becomes a great multiplier and enhances the experiences of life. When we do not have these things in place, the search to find love sets up the experiences we need to discover what is true about love and what is not. The discovery process we call the meantime. We enter relationships. Hold on, make sure my legs don't lock up on me. Get my circulations on. All right, we still rocking? All right, here we go. We enter relationships looking for love, expecting someone to love us or accept us lovingly. This makes perfectly good sense if you consider that we are each born to express and receive love. In some unfortunate situations, we can want love or acceptance so badly that we'll do almost anything to get it. We break love's rules. We disregard love's house. We forget to set love boundaries. We allow people to step in, be in, move in, live in our lives in ways that have nothing to do with love. Even when we have boundaries or standards, clearly defining what we will do, how we will do it in the name of love, and what we expect in return, there never seems to be enough love to fill the void we have all at one time or another felt in our hearts. When we believe we do not have enough love in our lives, we enter the meantime. What we fail to understand is that we are the love we seek. Until, however, we can recognize ourselves as love and live in harmony with our true identity, the void grows deeper, wider, and more painful. Hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to get comfortable and shit. Great rise and Nas, I see you and shit. Hold on. I can't feel my right leg. Hold the fuck on. I said something was gonna happen. I could feel my circulatory. Oh. Give me a minute. Oh, goodness, y'all. Shit, y'all. Man, I love y'all. Look, real shit, I'm glad y'all fuck with me. I'm about to read in a minute. Just give me a second. I'm glad y'all fuck with me, though. Straight up. I don't know what I would do without you. I don't know what I would do without you. I wonder all the time what I would do if I didn't have my sisters, you know? Okay. Oh, I love you. Ashe. I love you, Anita. Ashe, be peace, sis. Be peace, yo. Be the light. Shit. Fuck them up. Alright. Alright. Damn. That's one of my favorite things to say to Siri. Be like, hey, Siri, I'm gonna fuck them up with this one. I love Siri always say the most crazy things. They be like, there's no need for that. All right, peace and power. Hold on, y'all. I'm just getting crap out the leg, and then we go get it popping. Ride out. All right, here we go. Okay. You're like, hey, that ain't sacred. How you do all that in a dress? I'm trying to tell you. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, fuck all that shit. You sit on that leg for an hour, you gotta do something. Okay, here we go. Alright. So, that was peace, because we forget to set love boundaries. We allow people to set in, be in, move in, live in our lives in ways that have nothing to do with love. Even when we have boundaries or standards clearly defining what we will do, how we will do it in the name of love, and what we expect in return, there never seems to be enough love to fill the void we have all felt at some time or another in our hearts or our lives. That's when we enter the meantime. Anyway, they just didn't get it. He called several times during the next several weeks. At first, she refused to return his calls. She was struggling to shake and break her attachment. He had already shaken his, although he had forgotten to tell her that she had been shook. Surely she knows, he thought. Yo, so get this now. They're already like dabbling, him and her. You know what I'm saying? And they got attachments, and they know they shouldn't, and they trying to shit, but they can't. You know what I'm saying? They keep trying to not, but they can't. And like it says here, she was struggling to shake and break her attachment. He had already shaken his, although he had forgotten to tell her that she'd been shook. I'm trying to tell you, yo, what's the copyright year on this joint? Man, everything's the same, dog. It's 1998, okay? So, like, he done shook his attachment, but his attachment is not aware. Kind of like them brothers out here who's trying to have the polygamous relationships and shit, but they wives don't know. You mean like, yeah, like, okay, yeah, like, cause that shit was popping. Like 2 years ago, I was getting relationship proposals every fucking 2 weeks, and I'm like, so I'm gonna be the sister wife, but Queen don't like sisters. Like, yeah. On that note, for all my polygamous brothers, I love you. I do. For all my polyamorous sisters and brothers, for all my I love you. I support what you're doing and shit. I really do. And for all the aspiring polygamists, B, can you get me together first? I was talking to a sister. Yo, you like, all right now. Hey, I just be talking shit now. Well, I was talking to a sister. Hey, we was talking about the polygamous shit. And like I brought up a conversation because I remember when I was 18, I was in a relationship, 18 or 19, and I had suggested him and I have a girlfriend, mostly because I was already privately in relationship with a woman, and it was just like, it wasn't like I was, it was an intimate relationship. So I just wanted the convenience of being able to have sex with either of them without having to hide them from one another. It's not that I wanted a relationship with the two of them. I didn't even think the chemistry would be the same if we were all hanging out together, which is why the fuck I never invited her to hang out with me and him, or vice versa. Anyway, at some point, my time got stretched thin, trying to be with him as much as I could and be with her when I wanted to. And so I do remember just asking him, like, how would you feel? Like, it was totally hypothetical. How would you feel if we had a girlfriend? And he's like, I mean, what the fuck you think I am, some average nigga? And I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? I thought my cat was out the bag. I was like, oh shit, this is the moment where you get your head buzzed. He's like, what the fuck I look like, some average nigga to you? And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? He's like, I chose you. Like, yeah, like I was fucking women before you. Like, I chose you. That man, I don't want another one. Like, I would not have chose you if I wanted more than one. He's like, plus that's a lot of shit. I'm like, what's a lot of shit? He's like, you're a lot already. It's a lot to keep you happy, to keep you clothed, to keep you fed, to keep you full. Like, it's a lot to keep you good. I'm not trying to deal with 2 cycles. I'm not trying to deal with 2 birthdays, 2 anniversaries, and For the first time, I guess, because so many people, when you talk about poly relationships, their minds automatically go to sex. So it was the first time I had even heard a man address the other things. Like, even I had never thought about it. When I had come to him with the idea, it was like I said, for me to selfishly be able to have sex with, to get what I want. For me, it was for me to have a sex buffet. I didn't even think about, you know, I didn't even think about the emotional expenditures that would be, you know. Anyway, I say all that to say, you know, I'm talking to this other sister years later, and we just joking, right? Because like 2 years ago, every man in the conscious community was trying to be polygamous and shit. Every one of them. Fuck, I didn't meet not one like that old brother from back in the 90s and shit. All of them was like, yeah. But like me and sister like, B, can you get me together? Before you go talking about how many more of us you gonna rally up for, can you get the one right, rock that shit good, and then go. Man, that's hilarious. Anyway, here we are in this situation where he done shook her and she not even aware. Oh, we done seen this shit. Remember y'all ain't never used to watch Cheetahs? Y'all ain't never used to watch Cheetahs. Them folks run up and I used to hate it too. Like it's always sad, but I used to at least like it when he'd be like, "Baby, I'm sorry, baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby. I know I was out here fucking up. Please forgive me, please forgive me." But you know, those I'd be like, "Oh, I hope they can get their relationship together." But in the ones, but he'd be like, "Man, bitch, I already told you we don't go together no more. Bitch, I been told you we don't go together no more. You telling the side piece, man, this bitch lying, man. I told you, man. Me and her used to be married." Listen, true story, hold on. Those situations where somebody done broke up with you or done shook you and you're not even aware. We've seen it. Anyway, that's what's going on here. She's still trying to get rid of her attachment, and he's already gotten rid of his. He just forgot to let his attachment know. He assuming and presuming that she just knows. She must know, right? How can she not know? Because that same shit we was just talking about, where somebody just started dropping hints and trying to wait on you to disconnect so they don't have to be the bad guy. That's where they, in their mind, they're like, yeah, surely you must know. You know, like anything understood ain't got to be explained, right? Now, explain all that shit, motherfucker, so we crystal clear out this motherfucker, like Duracell Opal clear. Anyway, she has to know. In the meantime, people often forget to say what they mean or mean what they say because they assume you already know. In the meantime, people often forget to say what they mean or mean what they say because they assume you already know. He did not assume that he would pass her on the street, but he did. The moment they saw each other, the thumping started. His mind, her heart, and their body parts. They spoke. Actually, she spoke first. He responded by talking to her about the cause. Feeling guilty, as we often do in the meantime, she agreed to call him later. She did, and they agreed to meet. When you're in the meantime, you want an escape route. You want something to do other than all the meantime stuff. They wanted to do something about their thumping body parts. They wanted to be attached to one another. They thought it was love. It had to be love. Why else would it keep showing up, thumping, and giving them the perfect excuse to break all other attachments? The meantime is not about breaking up attachments. It is about creating attachments honestly and lovingly. However, in the meantime, the thumping body parts are completely unaware of this little tidbit of information. He made the offer. She accepted. On opposite sides of town, both of their other attachments were fed up with excuses and ready to do another kind of thumping of body parts. Alright, where we at? Okay, we got some bullets in here. Let's go. In the meantime, keep your needs to yourself. People cannot fulfill your needs. They may want to, they may try to. They may convince you that they can, but they cannot. What people can do for one another is make the need seem less urgent. We distract one another so that we forget temporarily what we need. We help one another replace a pressing need with something else. In the meantime, the need does not disappear. It dissipates. In a nutshell, people need love. God is love. What we need is God, but that's too esoteric for most of us to handle. It's also pretty frightening To say we need God conjures up some pretty frightening images for most of us. The most frightening of all being those things we believe we will have to give up to get to God. Instead, we say we need the love of another person because this is the kind of love most of us believe we can handle, to some degree or another. We also think we need a house, we need a car, we need a few kids, and we need a job so that we can feed the few kids. Of course, these things are important, even essential to our well-being, but what we really need to live on and live in is love. We also think that things and people bring more love into our lives. Do they? Do they? Do they actually bring more love into our lives? On some level, they do. What they do in actuality is provide us with the opportunity to share the love we are and the love we have within, which is God's love. Remember, we talked about looking for your increase. That's definitely finding your increase. All right. Like I said, when Jeff and I separated, and I was like, all the promises he made about forever, and like all the promises, and I'm like, now here I am, and this motherfucker done made me a mother, and like I'm not even a wife. Like, it's my first time having a baby, and like my mind never shifted. I ain't never wanted to put him on child support. I ain't never held a baby from him. I've never been nasty. I've never ever done anything evil, or I've never put my emotions in the middle of his relationship with his child, ever. Even when I was hurting and at my most, and I wasn't always 70-something% sanctified, even then, I never, ever, ever used his love against him. And that was my increase, because I would say to myself that all the good in him, he couldn't keep a promise to me. He couldn't make me smile anymore. He couldn't be gentle, or he couldn't be warm or honest anymore, because all of his love and gentle and warm and honest, he must have put it all in the baby. And I'm thankful for that, because he gave me a gift. That was my increase. I didn't feel like, it didn't take long for me to shift my thinking. I went from feeling like, oh my God, this motherfucker that made me a mother before he made me a wife, to thinking he gave me an opportunity to love. All right? He gave me an opportunity to love. In my relationship now, I've been given an opportunity to love. Regardless of where it goes or how long it goes, I've been given an opportunity to love, and so I have. And everybody that comes into our lives gives us that, if nothing else. All right? We don't have to give up anything. It's about us learning how to share the love that we have, which is, real shit, is God's love. You want to be loved like, you want people to think about love when they think about you. That's peace. We're not always aware of how our needs lead us into dark corners. Try as we might to be alert, strong, and positive when it comes to love matters, many of us seem to always end up someplace we do not want to be, alone in the meantime, looking for a relationship. Over the years, I have heard absolute horror stories about the goings-on called love. At times, I've been amazed that we could believe that something as divine as love could show up looking so ridiculous. In other situations, I have been appalled at the foul things people do in the name of love. Finally, I had to stop, to smack myself, to realize there's a pattern here. The players are different, the events are different, but somewhere underneath it all, there is a sameness. Okay, let me tell you about a common sameness that I see. A common sameness that I see. A lot of us play house, okay? A lot of us like to play house. We are so, and it's like, we know this shit. This ain't it. Don't you feel, don't get in my goddamn inbox like I'm talking about you individually and shit. Just that the fuck this is. Like I said, it's something that we all do. We like to play house. The courtship part of the relationship feels good. The new part and the idea of being happy together forever, and the idea of being in a place and space together, and the idea of having a baby together, and whatever the, hold on right quick. The playhouse pattern is a common one. And so a lot of us, a lot of people, when I say us, men and women, might have, sometimes you can see the patterns when you look at your life. This is, I ain't got to call out your patterns and shit. Look at your life and see your own patterns, all right? Look at your own life and see your own patterns. If I meet a man and he got let's don't do it to the man, because it's been done enough to the man. Let's do it to me. In fact, fuck that. It's easier for a man can have 15 babies in a year. I'm unable to do that. Okay, so let's say I meet a man and he got 3 baby mamas. Okay, and he got 2 kids with each of them, and he spent about 3 years with each of them. Should I expect that me and him gonna hook up, and we're about to collectively take care of the 6 children, and we're about to be all in happy relation from here until forever? Or should I consider that I could spend 3 years with this man and walk away with 2 children? And that's not even, like I said, this is not the point where you have to run for the hills like, oh God, he has 6 children. No, this is the part, like I said, the minute you have the thought of the feeling, you speak on it. Because sometimes awareness is all we missing. Like I said, I had a man tell me at an interview, so you got a 2-year itch. You stay at a job for 2 or 3 years, and then you have an itch to go. You have to say that you would have to say that to this man to make him aware. So, beloved, you got a habit of playing house. You stick around for long enough to make 2 babies, and then you've seen the seasons, and then you realize it's not where you should be, and so you're not there. Paying attention to our patterns. Pay attention to our patterns. Pay attention to our patterns. Pay attention to our patterns. The players are different. The events are different. But somewhere underneath, it is all the same. Somewhere underneath, there's a common denominator. Because it's your ass, it's you, and all of that shit. You are the common denominator. Okay? Out of all the fucked up relationships you've been in, out of all the failed relationships you've been in, out of all the crazy niggas you done fucked with, out of all these ratchet ass bitches you done talked to, there's a common denominator, and that's peace. All right. I have always had, like, for me, like I said, for me, as a young woman, promiscuity. So sex, my issue would have been with sex. And as a result of, in relationships, there were always sex issues, whether a man be incompetent, or whether he be a porn addict, or whether he be a cheater. You know what I'm saying? It was never an issue with, I got an issue with the way he eat. It was never, I got an issue with how much money he make, or I got an issue with how he work, or I got an issue with how he pray. Because my own self-issue was relative to sex. The issues that I identified in all of my relationships, somehow there was a sameness. All right? Somehow there was a sameness. It's hard, but we have to stop and reflect. Like, we have to, like I said, you don't have to sit and blame you, but you got to sit down and be accountable. At some point, you got to sit down and be accountable. All right? Looking for the patterns and calling yourself out on them. All right? Men and women have a tendency to do the same things when they're trying to get their needs met. I decided to keep a list. I wrote down making sure I'm watching my time because I'm getting off at an hour. I wrote down the 13 most common things we do in search of love or a relationship in which we want to be loved. Each of these things will inevitably fail to meet our needs. They'll take us to a hellish meantime experience. All the signs say that this is not the one. Wait, this is bullet 1. All the signs say this is not the one, but you ignore your internal alarms and move ahead into a love fantasy. All right? 2, because you fear being alone or because you believe you cannot have what you want in a relationship, you accept the first person who comes along only to be left beaten, ripped off, or impregnated and then left, beaten, ripped off. Number 3, you confuse friendship and niceness with romantic love. Number 4, because someone is nice to you and you're not used to it, you don't know how to say no to them when you realize they are not who you want. Number 5, you get caught up in the packaging and promises. Number 6, you force your desires for a relationship onto another person or issue an ultimatum. Because the person does not know how to say no, he or she goes along with you for a while. Because the other person expresses, this is the next bullet, because another person expresses an interest in you, you respond without really exploring if this is who or what you want. Number 8, you allow blind faith, which leads to blind love, to take you into a relationship that is unhealthy. Number 9, you choose to believe that what your partner has done to another person, he or she will not also do to you. Damn. That shit felt like a ton of bricks. Sexual compatibility is mistaken for love. That's number 10. Number 11, you stay in a relationship although you are miserable, trying to work things out even when your partner shows no interest in working through the difficulty. Number 12, you don't express what you really feel because you believe it'll hurt your partner's feelings. And 13, you choose to believe your partner's lies even when you know the truth. You act like you do not know what is going on when you do. All right. We're going to, I don't know when we're going to see this book again. I don't know when we're going to see it again. But if you want to get it, it's called In the Meantime. It's Ayanna Banzan. I would check for it at the thrift before you go spend for it on Amazon. That's peace. Let me see, out of those 13, I'm going to go. Yeah, 13. That's a righteous number. All right, let me see. All the signs say he's not the one. I'm guilty of that one before. Not now in life. But I'm guilty of that one. I feared being alone and stayed for that purpose. I'm guilty of that one. I've confused friendship and niceness with romantic love. I'm guilty of that one. I have not known how to say no to someone because they were nice to me. True. I've gotten caught up in packages and promises. I have forced my relationship desires onto another person, and I have given ultimatums. Guilty. Let me see. Number 7, because the other person expresses an interest in you, you respond without really exploring if this is who or what you want. Guilty. You allow blind faith, which leads to blind love, to take you into a relationship that is unhealthy. I'm guilty and have done that before. You choose to believe what your partner has done to another person, he or she will not do to you. Like I said, guilty of that one. Once you start looking at your patterns, you got to be real and shit to look at other people's patterns, you know? You got to be real enough to look at other people's patterns. It took a lot for me to say it. Like, in order, when Louie and I separated and I started to come into myself, I was able to say that. I was able to finally say, for the first time in my life, I have cheated in every relationship because I wasn't aware that it was cheating. I didn't know that it was cheating. The way I was raised, that is how relationships work. You utilize you have sex toys and you have sex partners and you have side pieces, and all of these things are resources to make a marriage function properly. I wasn't aware that wasn't the case. Okay? So, yeah, here I'm going into relationship after relationship, and nobody's asking the questions. I'm not sharing the information. Surely it's not relevant. At least I don't think it is. In retrospect, now I know. Now I know. Now I can go into a relationship saying clearly who I was or what I believed or how I got down, and now I have more control over it. But it took me recognizing my own pattern. It took me recognizing my own pattern before it could be handled. All right. Sexual compatibility is mistaken for love. That one I have experienced, but it wasn't me feeling like it wasn't me feeling the love. I have had, yeah, we've had clingy sex partners who, yeah, we've had clingy sex partners. We grown, we have. So for some people, the sexual compatibility is mistaken for love. A few more bullets, then we out of here. 11, you stay in a relationship although you're miserable, trying to work things out with your partner, even though they show no interest. Like, it's not reciprocal. Like, every day you doing shit that they're not doing for you. Like, straight the fuck up. Like, every day you're trying to talk, or you're trying to build, or you're trying to mend, and they just not. Guilty. 12, you don't express what you really feel because you believe it'll hurt your partner's feelings. We all guilty of that. That's natural. When you love somebody, you don't want to hurt them. Alright? And it's easier to hurt people's feelings than it is to hurt anything else. And finally, you choose to believe your partner's lies when you know the truth. You act like you do not know what's going on when you do. That's another easy one. I'm guilty of that one too. I've been on both ends. Yeah. So it really sucks too. It really sucks. Like, or it says you choose to believe your partner's lies even when you know the truth. You act like you don't know what's going on when you do. Damn, that is hard. Let me tell you what's harder and what I'm guilty of. Like, not even believing your lies, but asking when I already know. Like, I think that's definitely red flag crazy. That's some mean time shit. Where I ask you a question, like, I don't have to ask you, are you cheating or is it somebody else? And then believe you when you say, no, it's nothing like that. That I already know is the piece already, that I don't have to fucking ask. That I'm already fucking up by asking, because I already know. Anyway, and I choose to believe the lies, even when I know the truth. Also guilty of that one. Alright, y'all. Let me give you this affirmation so we can go. Yeah, I like the meantime shit. That's dope. Yeah. That's a good read. Maybe we'll do that again Saturday. We'll see. Alright. I am a distinctive, beautiful flower and a healing herb with a heart, a mind, breasts, buttocks, and a womb. I come with sacred earth medicine to heal myself. Alright, I love you all. That just mean I'm excited to go. That don't mean I'm about to go give it. That don't mean I'm about to go give head. That just mean I'm excited. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. I want to crawl in bed next to say, but my feet so cold. So I know that's not gonna be. That's not okay. But y'all take it easy. I love y'all. I'll see y'all asses again soon. Peace. I love you too, sis. I love you too. Remember, y'all fuck with me on Desk Peace, because I can't message you on Facebook. I see some of y'all talking to me on Facebook, but I can't see you. I can't talk to you. Alright, I'm about to go.